Okay, so as promised, we've got an example here that will show you what to do with your little 1 to 2 minute informal presentation about your obra maestra or your masterpiece. Um, I actually selected something that's actually really relevant to Hispanic and particularly Mexican culture. This is a piece called La Malinche, and it is made by Diego Rivera, who is one of the most renowned painters of the 20th century. Um, so as you can probably tell, this figure here in the center is La Malinche, and she was known for being one of the indigenous peoples that was actually married to Hernan Cortes. Um, Not really by choice, and that's a story you can look into later, and that we may talk about later. But anyways, so when you look at this painting, there's a lot of things you can talk about, even if you don't know a lot about the background. Obviously, with your works, you'll know more of the reasons of why it was made, but there's a lot of examples that you can look at. For example, the first question you'll be asked to answer is, okay, what was your inspiration for the obra de arte, for your piece of art? And at least for Diego, Diego Rivera quiso representar el papel fuerte y femenino que jugó Malinche durante la conquista por los españoles y Hernán Cortés. So he wanted to represent a strong and feminine role, obviously through Malinche during the Spanish conquest that was done by the Spaniards and, of course, Hernan Cortés. So you can kind of see that here in the image. Notice how, like, compared to all the other people, she really shines out, and that's due to lighting, lighting and color. And then we go to our next question. So we think, ¿cuáles técnicas utilizaste para crear el arte? So what techniques are you using to create the art? Now, depending on what you have at your disposal, it could be an oil painting. We can talk about watercolor. Pencil and paper works just the same way, because are you shading? Are you trying to make it look like the light's coming in a certain way? But also, what's your use of color? I mean, are you trying to use bright colors, muted colors? What are you trying to do? And then, moving on, we get into what's the profound message that you're trying to use with your art. So in this case, Diego quiere llamar la atención sobre las injusticias causadas en el pasado y influir en la política mexicana con su arte. And this was not an exception. For time's sake, we'll move on. But anyways, basically, she was the first mom of a mixed baby, where the baby was actually documented. So you can kind of see that represented in the art, how her skin tone is different than a lot of the other indigenous peoples that you see around her. And I think Diego was trying to represent that. And then you'll also be asked to explain what was your favorite part, whether it was the favorite thing you did while you were making it or just your favorite thing after looking back on it. So my favorite part is the uso de color y la forma en que refleja la luz en la mural. So it can be something as simple as, like, I just like the way these colors were blended. I like what's highlighted in this art. Or just, something as simple as, like, that was a really good line I drew right there. Whenever you can say that'll fill your minute slot. So I hope this helps. This is a very informal presentation, but it just needs to get you thinking about the arts that we're going to study in the unit.